Welcome everybody, Sports Stuff Hub Live, episode 39 underway. So today is June 22nd already. God damn. This year is cooking by. Unreal. Just a bunch of craziness going on. It's, we'll say, slow-ish in the NFL right now, but a little bit of drama, a little bit of controversy happening. We still have the Aaron Rodgers saga going on with Green Bay. Nobody knows what's going to happen with that yet. There's a lot of he said, she said, I'm not going to do this, he's not going to do that, we're not going to budge, blah, 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 blah. But in other news, Julio Jones was traded. We had that discussion last week, and I think the week before even. Making Tennessee a viable contender. We're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. But before we get into sports, it's time for some hobby talk. All right, so this coming weekend, if you are in the area, we have the Twin Oaks Cards and Collectibles show Saturday and Sunday at the Auburn Outlet Mall. Jam-packed 2 days, 70-plus tables each day. Everything from vintage to ultra-modern, graded, slabbed, autographs, rookies, you name it. PSA, BGS, SGC, HGA, ABC, EDB, bitty. All of them will be there. And I don't mean the companies, people selling their slabs, obviously. Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, you name it. All the gaming, there's going to be tables that have a little bit of everything. Comic books, Funko Pops, memorabilia. There's a t-shirt vendor. ComC will be there. It's a pretty big show. It's getting bigger and bigger every month. And over the last couple months, they took it and turned it into a 2-day show. One day was getting too big. And too many vendors wanted in, to the point they had a wait list that could have managed an extra 3 shows. So if anybody's wondering if sports cards are dying, no, not at all. Sports cards are back, baby. Values are there. Whether they're dipping, booming, staying still, doesn't matter. Sports cards are here. So go check out the show if you're going to be in the area. Auburn Outlet Mall, Saturday, Sunday, show hours 10 to 4, both days. 70 plus tables, going to be jam-packed, a lot of fun. As far as releases for this week, Select Baseball comes out tomorrow. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a huge release, but it's a fun release. It's an unlicensed product, obviously. Panini doesn't have MLB team rights, so no logos, no team names, all that fun stuff. But no big deal. Select is a good product. It's fun. Great parallels, great set. That comes out tomorrow. From what I hear, Panini's going to have it on their website for $200 a box. Not a bad price, especially for what you get in it. On Friday, Topps Stadium Club Baseball comes out. Another good one. That's one that I personally enjoy as well. Not a big break product. It's more of a grab a box and rip. Reminds me a lot of Rippin' Flagship, that kind of stuff. Not a great for break product, but it's a fun rip. Leaf Trinity Baseball also comes out Friday. Unless that got delayed as well. Who knows with Leaf sometimes. They get stuff pushed back last minute. So that's going to come out on Friday as well. That one's looking, in that 125, 130, 140 range. So that's affordable, unlicensed as well, but you get a lot of autos per box. I might run a box break of that, or maybe a 2-box break of that next week. We'll see. Select Baseball tomorrow. We're going to have on break night 2-box random team. So if you guys are interested in getting in on group breaks, we've got 4 breaks lined up for tomorrow. We've got Select Baseball in a random team. We've got a charity break for Status Basketball, 2019-20 Status Basketball, 2-box random team. And all profit goes to, on Twitter, White Mamba 52. His mother and sister's house burned, and they lost all their possessions, and so he created a GoFundMe for them. So all profits from that break are going to the GoFundMe for the mother and sister of White Mamba 52. So it's a good cause. If we sell out, that means we donate $400, which is pretty awesome. If you guys want to donate, there's a link to the GoFundMe on the break page. You can get right in, and you can donate yourself if you'd like to. I suggest it if you guys are into that kind of thing. Outside of that, we also have 2 football breaks. We go back to the 2020 season with XR football. And that is a 2-box PYT with a TriStar autographed jersey. That's going to be a fun break. And then also another 2-box of Prism Draft Picks football, PYT, hobby, also with a jersey. So you have a chance of scoring big either way. It's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow night. So go grab your spots, sportstuffhub.com/breaks. Get in. Also, we've got only one more week for people to qualify for the June Loyalty Rewards break, which is going to be 2021 Panini Noir Basketball, which is a nice higher, mid-level, high-end product. And we're going to have a random team of that for the qualifiers. To qualify to buy into this break, you have to be in 3 different breaks throughout the month. And then you'll be given eligibility to buy a very low-cost spot for a high-end product. So if that's your first month of qualifying, that's how you get in. So what else is going on in the hobby? Let's see. We had Select Football Cosmic Packs hit the Panini website yesterday. If anybody was able to get in and get one. I was luckily able to score. So 2,500 points per. You only pay for shipping. Looked it up on eBay. They're going for around 300 a pack. Okay. Last year when I got one, didn't hit anybody big in mine. Preston Williams, Adrian Peterson, and an offensive lineman. I don't remember who it was. It wasn't Mekhi Becton. I know that. But it's a fun product, fun parallel. It's one of those watched for products. Now, I don't know what the overprinting of Select this year is going to do to the values of things like the Cosmics, but I know all the base and silver rookies that were holding good value, such as field level rookies, have gone down quite a bit since we basically got bombarded with retail over the last month and a half. So we've seen a lot of values take a dip. So be it. Shit happens. We're still going to see some of the parallels that'll rebound this year with solid play by certain rookies from last year? No, this was not an advertisement from Coca-Cola. But I do enjoy Coke. It's good. Diabetes in a can. Joining me in about 10 minutes is going to be Dean Smith Richard. So make sure you guys tell your friends to get in here because it's going to be a fun night. We are literally just going to BS about sports for an hour. It's going to be fun. Let's see. What else happened in the hobby? Oh, did anybody actually get a chance to get any of the Panini NFT Prism packs? I know I didn't. I didn't get them last week, and I didn't get them this morning. Last week, I tried and tried and tried, and then I walked away from the computer for about 10 minutes, and I came back, and they were sold out. After 35 minutes of trying, it was kind of kicked to the nuts to everybody who was trying. And then this morning, tried, finally got it into my cart, went to check out, hit pay, my app crashed. When I got it to finally reload, it was no longer on the buy page. All gone. Bye-bye. Missed it. Go figure. There's been a lot of questions about these NFTs, especially with Panini releasing this version. They've had blockchain for a while. And it's a neat concept on their website. I have gotten some of the National Treasures and Immaculate blockchains, and I've sold them. I've redeemed them on the blockchain site, and then I've sold them within their internal marketplace. Immediate payment, no returns, and it went right to my PayPal. I got no problems with that. Now, what I don't know with these packs is how many there are. I don't see a sequential numbering set up on these. So my curiosity is with other things such as Top Shot and some of these other NFTs, there's patents with it where you know how many exist and what number yours is in that list. And I haven't been able to see that on Panini. And I, aside from going into somebody's owned display card, I don't know what the sell history is per card. Whereas other NFTs, that's all established in lists. You can go into everything and you can see every sale, every marketplace transaction. You can see everything. You've got a ledger of everything. And in order to see a ledger in what I've noticed anyways with the Panini blockchain is that in order to see a ledger, you have to go into an individual card, not the overall run of the card. So there's a few things that I think they really need to clean up or at least explain or give people access to. And I don't know if I'm going to continue to try to get anything because right now, let's face it, a lot of the people who bought into NBA Top Shot when it was new were just cashing in. They were money chasing. Let's be honest. There wasn't anything else to it. You bought a $9 pack. Odds are you'd hit a $40, $50 moment minimum. And then you'd sell. You got one of the upper end packs. that you pay $99 for. You get a $500 moment, you cashed out. That's what it was. It was essentially a cash grab. Market then collapsed. Everything came way back down to earth, and I mean screaming back to earth. For example, my Gen 1 Cool Cats, Tyler Hero, I got in one of the early Cool Cats packs. $49 pack, $29 pack, whatever it was, I'd have to look it up. It wasn't expensive. And the day after I pulled it, it was $120. 3 weeks later, it was up at $1,000, $1,200, $1,500. And I thought to myself, wow, maybe I should sell. But if this becomes the next big thing, maybe I'm going to kick myself for selling, because this could be $5,000 in 6 months. And then days later, that same Tyler Hero today is minimum sell $30. So from $1,500 down to $30 in just a matter of a couple months. So now I'm seeing NBA Prism NFTs by Panini, and I'm seeing the same exact type of thing, where I'm literally seeing cards of Anthony Edwards go for $500, $600, $700 for a digital card that I can't track. And it makes me nervous, because is this going to have the same effect that Top Shot did, where everybody's going to go scrambling because it's a cash grab? Oh my God, I paid $10 for this pack and I sold this card for $600. I paid $20 for this pack and I sold this card for $800. This one for $500, because it's the new fun toy. And then a couple months, that same Anthony Edwards, $30, $40. So, and that's where my fear is with it, is if I start chasing this stuff now, you're overpaying, because it's way easier now to get packs in Top Shot. So getting in now, you're overpaying. Just because it's the Gen 1 stuff doesn't mean it's going to hold value. That's one thing I heard all over the place. And I'm not saying that I'm trying to berate Top Shot by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's a fantastic concept. I love the video clips. But we're talking about digital cards now from Panini. These aren't video clips. These are just literally digital versions of the cards I hold in my hand. So my fear is a bunch of this stuff is going to come crashing down, and who's left holding the bag? Because people have already gotten burnt on sports cards after crashes happened. Look at Michael Jordan PSA 10 86-87 Fleer rookie. $800,000+ 6 months ago. $250,000 just last month. So who got left holding the bag there? Well, if enough of this continues to happen, you're going to get people who get burnt out real quick. And we don't want that. We want people in. We want people exchanging cards, whether it's through monetary or for trading purposes. We need to keep them in. We don't want people to get left holding the bag and then go, screw this, I'm out. That's not how you include people. You want to make it inclusive. Sure, people are in it to make money. People are in everything to make money. People are in real estate to make money. People are in food to make money. People are in medicine to make money. Some of that stuff is hobbies for some people, just like a hobby for sports cards. But people can still make money on it. And that's what brings some people to the table. Yeah, you can make money on it, but you can still be passionate about it. I love sports cards. I'm passionate about sports cards. I'm passionate about sports. But if I can pay my bills doing it and surround myself with my passion, sign me up. 24 hours a day, this guy. Give me my passion where I can actually pay my bills with doing my passion. I'll take it. All right, let's move past hobby this afternoon, and let's get into sports chat. And I've got a special treat for you guys. Join me now, all the way from Puyallup, Washington, Little League legend, Little League coaching legend. And my monitors are fuzzing out on me. This is not a good sign. It's so dang hot here in Washington. This man actually put a shirt on for this. Give it up for Dean Smith Richard.
What's up, buddy?
What's going on?
Not much. The Little League legend might be a stretch.
I
do all right with the coaching.
That's why I added the coaching part.
Yeah, that's where it's at. You know, it's nothing in this world like getting shown up by your own kid all the damn time. So.
Well, that's kind of what parents are on Earth for.
Exactly.
So, all right. So, you have been ridiculously busy with coaching lately. What's going on?
Just a little. Yeah, we're coming off our first weekend off in, I think, 5 weeks. Little man's actual Little League team took second place in the Puyallup Calgary League here, so that was pretty fun. And weekend before last, we took the silver bracket with the Bulldogs right here up in West Seattle, so that was fun. And then Friday we hit the road and go up to Everett and play up there. So yeah, busy chasing that guy around. So.
That's crazy. Now, how old is your son again?
He's about to be 11.
11 already.
Yeah.
I remember when he was he barely came up past my knee.
Yeah, he's about to clear 5 foot here.
Jeez.
He's pushing 5 foot.
And this kid's just a tank.
Yeah, he cleared the fence last Friday night. The fence was 200 feet. He went out to dead center and cleared the fence by about 10 feet. So
wow.
Yeah, he's a tank. He's a strong kid.
Jeez. Now, that
actually, David? I'm about high on Ryan David. So.
Yeah, I'm no small person. We've
he's going to be a big boy. I mean, I'm about average, and actually my dad's side of the family is the stocky one, but most of my mom's side actually runs pretty tall. My aunt's 5'10", my uncle's about 6'2", and so he's going to have some size to him. Jeez,
and he's built too.
Yeah, he's a tank. I mean, he's a barrel. He is. Yeah, he's a stout boy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we've been gearing up. Our project is, and I want to just like drag you into this conversation, and I know it's just never ever going to happen, but I have hope. But the MLB draft is in 2 weeks, and so we watch that together every year. And so every year we go through and we look at the prospects, and it's actually been really fun. Our project this year is we go through and we look at the guys who are coming out, and he's really starting to look at them of the lens of how do I emulate these guys? What got them to where they're at, be it out of high school or out of a JUCO or out of a college. So he's really starting to look at his trajectory and take ownership of what he does, because it's baseball morning, noon, and night for that kid. It's really, he's growing so much, and really a lot of the kids on the team have. It's been just amazing to watch their growth as they go from just playing a sport to taking a craft seriously. It's been really awesome. And I got to spend Sunday with a buddy of mine. He coaches our 15U team, and so I got to go out and I hung out with them in the dugout. They won their championship over the weekend, and it was awesome to be out there with those guys. 15-year-olds who are, they're young men at that point, and they're just the dugout chatter and the passion that they have, and seeing that in these guys is just phenomenal. And that's the other thing. Troy Johnston, he's with the Marlins. He got drafted by the Marlins a couple years ago out of Puyallup. He's at Gonzaga. He's a Puyallup graduate. Came up through the Bulldogs program, and he hit for the cycle last week, and so he was the high A player of the week. And, it's just awesome. He's a guy who Cormac works with a lot in the off season. Just a great dude. So he's just this year they've really taken on their passion and embrace the game in a different way. And it's been such a blast to see.
So in other words, what I'm hearing is at some point I'm going to have to start covering baseball so I can cover my nephew.
That's it exactly. You gotta do it. He will take you to task if you don't. Like.
Oh, I can imagine. He's going to be like, you have a sports show? You don't talk about me? Come
exactly. He'll tell you to his face, like, man, you're going to talk about sports cards and sports. You better be ready for me to have a sports card. And
that would be awesome. That would be my new PC.
Yeah, that'd be. I'll tell you what. I don't even have words for what that day will be like for me.
That is epic. Okay, so while we're on the topic of baseball, so we've had a couple of things happen recently. Obviously, we've had the Mariners that like to toy with our emotions and go from looking like they could potentially be a contender for the division to looking like the worst team in baseball the very next week, to then sweeping the team that had the best record, and then we're just waiting for them to just fall completely on their face in the next stand. So
I fully expect them to sweep the Rays in 4 and then have their doors blown off by the Rockies, who are the only team, except for maybe like the Mets, who are more dysfunctional than they are, and just get their doors blown off by a terrible team after sweeping a great team.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it. I just come to terms with it, but the great thing is being a Mariners fan is the most freeing thing, because you don't have to worry about them contending. You can just go watch a baseball game and enjoy it. And if they win, hey, it's a bonus. You just drink a few beers, you eat some good food. It's a nice park. You can just go enjoy a day at the park. And, oh, hey, there's some baseball. That's you don't have to worry about any of this winning crap if you're a Mariners fan. Look at the pressure Yankees fans put on themselves. They have to win every year. It's exhausting. Just be free, watch the team, and sometimes they're going to sweep the Rays or some stupid shit, and sometimes they're going to get their doors blown off and you just drink more beer. So yep. I fully have just embraced being a Mariners fan, because we're pushing 36 years of Mariners fandom over here, and it just is what it is. So you know what? If they win, it's a bonus, but you have no responsibility. There's no stake.
Accurate. And when you're at the stadium, as we've done so many times, watching a game, drinking said beer, and then all of a sudden, here comes a baseball because somebody just went yard, our concern isn't who hit it. Mm-mm. It was just, hey, there was a home run hit here.
I have a great story about that, though. 2 years ago, I guess sort of last year before COVID, I was working in Seattle, and a buddy of mine works nearby. So we cut out early and we went to a day game on like a Wednesday. Just do what you and I do. Grab the cheap tickets, go hang out in Edgar's. Ended up being pretty crowded for a weekday day game. So we're at this table in the back of Edgar's, and so we can kind of see, kind of not. I mean, there's not a bad spot in T-Mobile, whatever it is now. But so we're hanging out there for the whole game, and then like 8th, 9th inning, we're like, okay, let's go up to like center field, go to the porch up there, see if we can get a better view, watch the last little bit of the game. Get up there, Haniger walks it off with a home run directly into Edgar's that lands on the table of grab.
That's awesome. Here's
like,
the here's the
two and a
thing.
half years later, he still gives me crap about that.
So here's the funny thing. You know, I've been to a ton of games in that stadium. And I hear all these people always brag about caught a foul ball, caught a home run ball, all this kind of crap. Of all the games I've ever been to, I've never had a ball hit within 10 feet of me. I am like polar opposite magnet for baseballs. Like every time I see one coming in my direction, all of a sudden it just sails. Or it just goes dead and drops too far in front of me. And it's just like, I never get a shot.
No, I've never been close. I've got a few MVP, but I've never been close in an actual game.
Yeah. I've sat there, you know, I've gone to like 4 straight games, and I've stood in the exact same spot in Edgar's Cantina for 4 straight games. Mm-hmm. And then I'll watch the next game on the TV, and a ball goes right to where I was standing for 4 straight games.
Yeah, I've sat like 100 level, you know, not even the great seats, not even like, you know, front row, but just the middle of those, what is it, the 140s over in left field. And I've sat there a million times, and, you know, you watch a game, or if I'm in the bleachers or whatever, there's foul balls over there all day long. Like, not even a foul ball anywhere close to me. So just, I apologize to anyone sitting in the same position as me. If you want balls, I've got buckets of them in the garage, so I apologize. Maybe that's what it is. I just have enough baseballs.
Probably. Yeah. Guarantee that's what it is. The baseball gods look at it, ball comes towards your direction and goes, "Now this guy's got enough.
This guy doesn't need any more." So.
You're gonna have plenty when your son gets older, anyways.
Yeah.
He's going to be tossing you the baseball game, or the game from the ball.
He's the opposite. He's a ball magnet.
No. What I'm saying, when he's older, when he's playing, he's just going to be tossing you game balls left and right. Here you go, Dad. Here you go, Dad. Here you go, Dad. Here, Uncle Ryan said he needed a baseball from the game.
Yeah, man, as long as he pays me back for his bounce, I don't care.
All right, so since we're talking baseball, we're big Kelenic fans, obviously.
Yes.
Disheartening having him get called up and essentially shat the bed, but not the worst thing that's happened. We've had other major names in baseball get called up and not have a good first outing.
Yeah.
Mike Trout is a big name on that list.
Yeah.
So, what have you seen since Kelenic got sent back down? What have you seen out of him that gives you hope that what he struggled with up in the bigs was fixable?
The same thing I've seen in him, you know, since I started paying attention to him pre-draft. Keith Law had a mock draft, one of his first mock drafts, had him falling to the Mariners at 12th or wherever we had to pick that year. And so I started paying attention to him. Like I said, we pay a lot of attention to these prospects coming up. And the kid's a worker. I mean, it was just his work ethic is off the charts. It's one of the reasons I love him. Just his attitude and his work ethic is unbelievable. And like you said, it's just, God, who was it? It might have been Kate Presser over at Lookout Landing. Said it very well, and I apologize if it wasn't Kate. But Kelenic wasn't going to come up and fix the Mariners' offense, right? The offense was completely anemic. People were hurt all over the place. And So he was called up, and it was a justifiable call up. But he wasn't going to come in and single-handedly fix it. He had a couple really good games, right? A couple of doubles, a couple of home runs, had a couple of great games, and then just slumped. The league figures you out. That's just reality of baseball. That's what it is. But what Kelnick is what he's doing in Tacoma right now, and he's got a great attitude and he's got a great work ethic. He's hitting really well in Tacoma. He's playing excellent defense. He's not going, oh, I went over 39 and I got sent down. I'm done, right? He's still the same guy. He still has the same potential. And we always want, especially our top prospects, we love whether it's the underdog guy who gets called up and comes out and shows out because we didn't have expectations for him, or the guy that we do have expectations comes out and tears the cover off the ball and is that guy from day one. We all love that story, but that's not reality, especially in baseball, right? It's the hardest to figure out. It's the hardest to grind at. And guys like Kelnick are no exception. And yeah, we want him to be, 2 for 4 with an extra base hit and a walk or two thrown in every night, but that's not reality. So he's down in Tacoma, he's grinding, he's hitting really well down there. And the problem with him is he's too good for AAA. Right now he's a quad A player at a very young stage in his career, where especially in the PCL, he's going to feast on AAA pitching. And then he's going to struggle against major league pitching because it's just a different level of competition. And so it's going to take some adjustments from him, and it's going to take some work from him. But he's a guy who's going to put in that work. So when that shows up, he's going to be the fully realized package, right? Like you said, it's almost every single prospect. There's a couple exceptions to that. But, right now you could even look at, Vlad Guerrero Jr., Tatis, guys like that. They had a few bumps along the road, but they were on a pretty upward trajectory from the word go. So sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes the story isn't just what we want it to be. And Kelnick's that guy. He's going to go down to Tacoma. He's going to grind. He'll be back in a month or two, and he'll be more ready. Maybe not fully realized package even at that point. Maybe he has more adjustments to make. But baseball, I tell my guys all the time, it's a game of adjustments. You have to adjust constantly, and he's a guy who's going to put in that work and grow and keep growing. So I have every confidence in him.
Well, and that was one of the things you mentioned, Guerrero and some of the other guys that had early slumps. When you look at Guerrero, his true rookie year in 19 was good. It wasn't blow the doors off anybody great, but it was good. And then he slumped in 20. But I mean, come on, that was a very shortened season. And as I've had many conversations with people, anybody that took the shortened 2020 season and that little bit of play during that time, if you're trying to define a player based off of that season, it's not going to work, because that season was short enough that literally was when a guy slumps. That's how long the season was.
Right.
So I'm sitting here talking to some of these guys going, no, that's not how this works. And now look at Vlad this year.
Right.
Acuna, same thing.
Yeah. And that's just not how baseball works. You're gonna have ups and downs. The best players do, and a casual fan, it's really easy to look at that and see an O for every night for a period of time and run with it. And especially like you said, coming off a shortened season. But there's a reason why average is the metric in baseball. You have 162 games. You have 600 plus at bats. Every single year. It's about averages. You're going to have streaks where you're hot and streaks where you're cold. And the real question for every single player is, how do you adjust? How do you get better year over year, game after game? We talk a lot about winning pitches, winning at bats, winning innings, winning games, winning series, right? It's just, you have to build from small building blocks into big ones. in order to have success. And that's where you look at guys like Kelnick, Julio Rodriguez in the Mariners system right now, Kyle Lewis with the injury he's had that are unfortunate. It's how do you adjust to these things? And that's what baseball is all about. And we live in this super live ball era where home runs and strikeouts exist at a historic rate. And it's really easy to look at the exclamation marks and lose sight of the small things that make baseball a really intricate sport in ways that others aren't. I think Tatis is a great thing, a great job of that. He's one of my favorite players right now because of that reason, because he focuses on all the little stuff. And yeah, he is the exclamation mark for baseball right now. He's essentially the face of baseball if you look at it. He's energetic. He's great at defense, great on offense, but he doesn't take any of the small stuff for granted. You just go watch his highlights and look at his counts and how he works himself into favorable counts, and then hits home run, right? So those home runs don't happen in a vacuum. Nobody's serving him when he falls down the middle. So he puts in the work to get himself into positions to do the things that are on the highlight reel. And again, I just go back to like being that guy. That's who he is a guy who's going to work on the stuff that doesn't make the highlight reel in order to get there. So he's gonna work his way back. This is just very normal prospect stuff, and he came with a lot of hype, and I think a lot of it's justifiable. And it's really easy to step back and go, "Oh man, like is this for real?" When he goes through a slump, but everybody goes through slumps, especially rookies. There's a reason there's only 700 odd guys playing Major League Baseball. It's really hard to do.
Well, before we change gears and get back over into the NFL, before you came on, I don't know if you saw it. So Wander got called up. Everybody knows tonight's his first game. 3-run homer. Had a three-run homer before you came on.
That's awesome.
So David Miller pointed that out in chat right before you came on.
Oh, nice. That's epic. I totally missed that. That's badass.
So what a way for his first game to start.
Yeah, that's epic. That's what you're dreaming about, right?
Absolutely. All right, so let's get it over into the NFL. So, actually, hold on. David Miller's got a question for you. Which Mariners do you think they will trade?
I don't know. I said it preseason. I think I talked about it on here. Haniger seems like the super obvious trade chip with Kelnick, with Lewis, with Julio. Jake Fraley really seems to have figured it out lately on both sides of the ball. He's been just a blast. He's just, I think, an underrated player, and another guy who just grinds. So obviously Trammell has been a little bit streaky, but there's another guy, right? So super crowded outfield. So you look at Haniger as a guy who's gotten injured, a guy who is the aging piece out of that, and with 2 years left on his deal, 1 year after this, and you look at him as kind of an obvious trade chip. This season, I've actually kind of reversed course on that, and this is my hot take and turning your question around, David, so I'm sorry. But I think he's more of a candidate for an extension than he is for a trade, simply because it comes down to bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. You look at Lewis, and he's not a guy I'd call injury prone, but he's a guy who's been unlucky with injuries, on the IL again. You look at Kelnick. Okay, hey, Golden Child comes up, has rookie struggles. Totally understandable. You can't put the franchise on Kelnick right now. So who are your guys in the outfield who are hitting? You have Fraley, who's a veteran guy in a way, but he's a veteran quad A guy. So do you trust him to stick? Maybe. Trell's shown that he has it / doesn't have it at times. So who's your outfield? So on one hand, you look at it and you say, okay, well, the Mariners have a ton of outfielders, ton of them. But how many of them are major league outfielders? So you take a guy like Haniger, he's not that old. Yeah, he's had some bad luck with injuries. But right now he's the guy who's doing it. And that's not the piece that you get rid of. So that's been the most interesting trade topic with the Mariners for this year. I see him as a candidate extension more than I see him as tradable. Does that mean he won't get traded? Absolutely not. We know how Dre likes to do things. And if the return's there, yeah, absolutely. But the good news is the Mariners are way more focused on developing the young pieces. Yeah, if there's the right guy to bring in, you go ahead and bring him in, but you don't just give him away. You don't make a trade just for the sake of making a trade. Most likely, I would say would be Kyle Seager, and that's mostly because of Julie Seager, because of everything that happened preseason with the Rotary League Cup and all of that front office mayhem. You just took one of your best, definitely your most consistent player of the last decade, and slapped him in the face. And Kyle Seager's a pretty chill guy. Julie is pretty intense. So that's, I think that bridge is burned. And again, he's a guy who I would be handing a decent extension to. He's playing very well. Keep him around for a few more years. Third base is still the hole in the farm system, but instead you've absolutely alienated that. So that's a piece where you could look at it and say, okay, well, if we can get a decent return for a guy who we just shoved out the door, all right, I understand it. So he's probably the most likely tradable asset. And then there's a flip side to this that Ryan alluded to earlier, is the Mariners toy with your emotions. So what are we, 38, 36 right now, coming off of a sweep of the Rays, and we have a doormat coming in right now against the Rockies. And honestly, an eminently winnable division. The A's are the A's, and they can go any direction at any time. The Astros are hot right now, but that has to fall apart sometime, right? This is why I'm an atheist, because the Astros keep winning. And then the Angels and the Rangers are doormats. So right now you're sitting in the middle of a winnable division, but are you a team that can go out and win it? So which way do you go with the trade deadline is the real question. Do you move a guy like Haniger and a guy like Seager, who are contributors right now on this team with the longest playoff drought in professional sports, and say, okay, well, we're just going to shove, what is it? What are they? Probably 3 WAR combined this year? 3 or 4 WAR. We're going to shove those 3 or 4 wins out the door in return for maybe winning next year. And we're at the point where we have a shit ton of prospects sitting in the system. So how much do you want to put in that cupboard? Because at a certain point, those guys have got to make it on the field. And that's where I don't think you trade Haniger, is he's the guy who's putting it on the field right now and putting it together while you're waiting on Kelnick, Fraley, Tremmel, Lewis, Julio. You're waiting on 5, 6 guys to hit. And those are good odds, but they're not hitting now. So if you can get Haniger, if you can get Seager, and you can shore that up and make it to the playoffs this year, that's what the people buying the tickets want. That's what we as sports fans want. That's what, hey, we all cheered for the Bills when they made the playoffs, right? Like, we love seeing that drought end, whether or not you're a Mariners fan. Those are teams you want to see get back into success. Hell, Ryan has died in the wool Steelers fan. We sat here a month or so ago and talked about how nice it is to see the Browns having success. It's better for the sport. It's better for everyone. And for those of us living in Seattle, it's way better to have a winning team than it is a losing one. So that's the question that they're faced with, is how do you approach the trade deadline? Yeah, Haniger, Siegs, maybe even Kikuchi, they could bring in some prospects, but we're pretty good on prospects. And right now there's a team that can go out and hang with good teams on the field. We just did it with 4 games with one of the best teams in the league that just came off the World Series appearance. So how do you tear that team down? And this isn't the team with an aging Cano with an albatross contract and Eddie Diaz who got super hot. This is a team with consistent pieces that are part of that future that you're building towards. And I would much rather see for them go for it, even if it's a wild card spot. I would much rather see them go for it and flip a guy like Trammell, some of these positions where you have depth, and get to the playoffs this year. And yeah, don't empty the closet for it. But if there's a piece out there that's going to get you to the playoffs, I'd rather see that 2 or 3 WAR come to the major league roster than 2 or 3 WAR leave the major league roster and bring back a Deichel. Because we've got a lot of those in the system right now. 11's not exactly where you want to be in this draft, but you're going to get 3 out of 4 mocks right now have Matt McClain out of UCLA, coming to the Mariners. Solid middle infielder, solid bat, great all-around player. You've got guys who are going to come into this system and contribute that are what you would get in trade anyway. And so right now they're in a position where you need to shore up catcher, you need to shore up third base, and you can never have enough pitching prospects, and another shortstop or two wouldn't hurt. And those are the holes in the farm system. So now you've built yourself to a position of strength, play that hand, bring pieces into the major league roster that shore up the holes on the major league roster and get this team back to the playoffs.
So David Miller, I'm going to stop you here for a second. David Miller asked another question. Odds of trading Crawford because of his stock rise?
Zero. Absolutely negative.
The only reason he said followed up, the only reason he asked is because of the free agent shortstop class next year.
Yeah, Crawford's on a great deal. The one thing we know about the Mariners is they're going to lose and they're not going to spend money. Look at the free agent class across the board. Look at why Kelnick got called up. And this isn't to invalidate your question in any way, David. It's a great question. But look at the free agent class of left fielders that were out there coming into this season. And we went out there like with a first baseman playing left field for the Mariners. So they're not going to look at the free agent market. And yeah, there's going to be guys on there, right? You could get Trevor Story right now for a song because the Rockies are idiots. They're just one of the somebody played first base. The Rockies are going to give Trevor Story away the way they gave Arenado away. And yeah, you could get these guys. But have the Mariners ever spent that money outside of Robinson Cano and Felix, with his extension? They're not a team that spends money. And, they let A-Rod and Junior go for crying out loud. So this is a team that, the shortstop market is stocked. And if we're the Yankees or the Angels or maybe even, there's teams out there that are going to spend money. The Mariners have not shown that they are. So they're not going to trade from a position of we have a Gold Glove shortstop who's suddenly tearing the cover off the ball, and we're going to trade him because we know we can get a shortstop next year. Because they're not going to sign that guy. They're not going to go out and spend that money on Trevor Story in free agency. Especially with J.P. Crawford, who has a deal that doesn't break the bank. He's on a good deal. And they have team control for years to come. And his bat has come along lately. Obviously, it's been fantastic. But what shortstop, your premium is defense, and he is one of the better defensive shortstops out there, and he will continue to be for years, even if his bat is average at best. Again, I think it's great. I hope this is what we see from him. But you're not going to trade a guy who you have potentially a bargain to go out and sign somebody to a big contract. If they're going to spend money anywhere, it's going to be on a pitcher. That's the one I think hole on the roster. Obviously, there's weaknesses. The one hole on the roster is they don't have a mix. I love the staff. Honestly, it's a good staff, but it's a very average staff. And if they get a guy who's going to bring that up and bring that average up, and they continue to build up the bullpen the way they have this year, I think this team is much, much more competitive. So I don't see Crawford going anywhere. You're absolutely right. His stock is very high, probably as high as it's ever going to be. But what's the return going to be on him? What are you going to get out of him? You got Noelvi Marte is not going to be ready this year. He might get his cup of coffee, but Marte is not going to be up this year. And there's questions about whether or not he even sticks at shortstop. Shed Long is not a shortstop. You've got a couple of guys who can do it. Ty France, you can see slotting into Sieg's spot at third base after next year when Siegs is gone. But you don't have a shortstop, a major league ready shortstop, really ready to step into that role full time this year or next and bring it in. And so, maybe you could roll the dice on luring a free agent here, but that's historically hard to do in Seattle in the first place. You're coming off major front office scandal and the longest playoff drought in American sports. You can't bet on bringing that guy in. And you're absolutely right. Dylan Moore could play it, but are you gonna bet on Dylan Moore being close to Crawford's level and bet on bringing a free agent in who's going to be on Crawford's level next year? I don't think so. I love Dean. He's a great player. He's a great dude. I think he has a place in this, but he's a guy who's either going to be kind of your super U guy or fighting for that second base job next year. So, well, now there's a hard question.
I just saw that. I was like, is Dean going to answer that?
Yeah, I got to think about that. Oh my God, what's the rooster's name? Is Foghorn Leghorn Looney Tunes?
Yep.
Yeah, it's got to be Foghorn Leghorn.
Not Yosemite Sam?
Nah, that's up there. That's up there though. Yeah,
Wile E. Coyote.
And I think it comes down to the fact that you got J.P. Crawford on a team-friendly deal that's controlled, and if he plays at or around this level for the remainder of that deal, that's not a deal you trade, because there's not a lot of guys out there with more upside than he has. He's young. He can still develop. He's going to continue to grow. And Trevor Story's great. I think he's the banner of the free agent market, at least as a position player for next year. But he's going to cost a lot of money. Can you get him to Seattle? And if you swing and miss on that, man, you're left with a big hole on the left side of your infield.
I would agree. I just had to add my 2 cents. That was a lot of.
Let me address. David just said they could go after Baez or Seager, Corey out of LA, and I think those are both true. Javi scares me. He has been not great this year in a lot of ways, and I could nerd out on the issues he's had at the plate all day long. Brilliant defensively, and he can be good, but he would scare me as a free agent signing with the year he's having. Siegs is great, but is there any way he comes here? Absolutely not.
Especially if his brother leaves.
Yeah, like, hey, you just shoved my brother out the door. If we made nice with Seager, and I'm not saying the front office hasn't done this, but if you make nice with Kyle, hey man, here's a 3-year contract extension that we're going to pay you a little bit more. We're very sorry. We love you. Please stay here forever, which is what I'd be doing because I love Kyle Seager. Then maybe, yeah, you can get Corey to come up here and play with his bro. But the much more likely scenario, I think, there is look for who needs a third baseman and a shortstop, and that's what those guys are next year. So yeah, I love Javi so much. But there's some serious issues with his swing right now, and I don't know if they're correctable, and I don't know if they're going to justify the contract he's going to get. And the Mariners just aren't going to be the people who give it to him.
All right, now let's get back over to the football side of things. The baseball side went on a little bit longer than I anticipated, so we got to get some football covered.
Yeah,
I know.
We said it was slow. I'm trying to help you out.
So on the football side of things, let's start with Julio, since you and I haven't gotten to talk about this.
No, we have not.
Julio to the Titans.
Do you want my hot take? You want my Julio hot take?
Always.
This makes Ryan Tannehill an MVP candidate.
Do you want to know what's funny? Yesterday I put a question up on Twitter, and I actually recorded my vlog for it that I was going to try to get posted before the show tonight, and because of the heat, my electronics were a pain in the ass. The question was, which quarterback is going to lead the league in touchdowns in 2021? And I knew what the majority of people's answers was going to be: Patrick Mahomes. And to wrap up my vlog, I'm just going to spoil it right here for you guys that are on listening to this. I'm still going to post it probably later tonight. At the very end, I finally said, you know what? gonna make a prediction. I don't normally make a prediction for myself. I present analytics, I present stats, I present trends, and then I allow other people to make their assumptions. And I said, screw it. I'm going to make my prediction for 2021. No joke. My prediction for the passing touchdown leader for 2021 was Ryan Tannehill.
I think he'll be up there. I don't think it puts him over the hump. I think he's going to have a great season. You and I have gone over Tannehill a bunch, and I'm so impressed with the guy. For just putting up with the sheer amount of crap he's had and dealing with what I'm sure is PTSD from having Adam Gase as a coach. To be where he's at is awesome, and it's awesome to see him getting the support and the buy-in from the front office to make a move like this. I think that's going to do an awesome job for his confidence, which after last year is probably already sky high. But to give him those weapons, to have Derrick Henry right there, I don't think he quite gets to the lead in touchdowns, but I think that's one of the most efficient offenses we're going to see next year.
So I'm trying to pull this up real quick. Give me just 2 seconds. And I'm glad you brought that up about... What was that? Did you hear the beeping?
Did not hear beeping.
That was weird. I'm glad that you brought up the... not sure if you believe he could get the lead in touchdowns. Which... this Excel sheet loads. So I broke a ton of stuff down, and I'm not going to have that in front of your face. But, so one thing
Nobody
that...
wants to look at me.
What's that?
Nobody wants to look at me anyway.
So one thing that I mentioned on my vlog was Ryan Tannehill has started 26 games for the Titans, okay? In 26 games for the Titans, and this is only starting, this doesn't count the first game that he played but didn't start, where he came in like the third quarter. So in his 26 starts with the Titans, 55 touchdowns. If you take Patrick Mahomes and you look at his last 26 starts, what did I say? 55 touchdowns for Tannehill? Mahomes' last 26 starts, 54 touchdowns. Tannehill has one more touchdown over that span of time. So, personally, I think it's doable. And here's some stuff that I also covered in the blog. I'm a little spoiler for you guys. Number one, the Titans ran the ball 65% of the time last year, highest in the NFL, right? Dean?
Yeah.
You can hear me? Oh, you zoned out there.
Sorry, I'm just not paying attention to you. There's a difference.
Shocking. Titans ran the ball 65% of the time last year, highest in the NFL. Okay?
Yeah.
Their offensive coordinator and play caller is now the head coach in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Well, now they also have Julio Jones on the roster. You have Julio Jones on the roster, you're not running the ball 65% of the time. Here's the other thing. A.J. Brown is a stud. We all know that. Okay? A.J. Brown's most productive time last year was when Corey Davis was on the field.
Right.
So, Corey Davis left. In comes Julio. I think we can all agree Julio is an upgrade to Corey Davis. Argument? Nope, I don't hear an argument.
Yeah. No,
it's a whole different situation in Atlanta than Tennessee. The Atlanta offense was Julio-centric, and Calvin Ridley couldn't shine with Julio on the field. Calvin Ridley, when Julio was on the field, only had 2 games of 100-plus yards over 25 games or whatever it was. And in 8 games without Julio, averaged 115 yards per game. Okay? A.J. Brown is different. A.J. Brown needs the other player on the field. A.J. Brown can't handle the double teams and get the separation and be a game changer on his own. He does better as part of a duo. Therefore, with Julio on the field, you're going to open up A.J. Brown a lot more. And this is where I think what we're going to see is having Julio is also going to keep 8 and 9 man stacked boxes away.
Right.
Because when you have Julio on the field, you can't load 8 in the box to try to stop Derrick Henry because Julio's going to destroy you. So now all of a sudden, the defense is going to have to back off. Derrick Henry can go ahead and run for 70 yards each and every freaking drive.
Right.
And then Ryan Tannehill throws a touchdown from 10 yards out. Winning formula.
Yep.
So my opinion is Ryan Tannehill could easily put up 45 to 55 touchdowns in a season.
I think so. He wasn't too far off of that in 2020. David Biacchetti again asked about the Titans' third target. I think that's absolutely true. I'm trying to think of the coach's name over there. Their offensive coordinator said they still are looking to add another tight end. Pruitt is back with the Titans. I think he'll be versatile there. This is a little bit of the homer in me. There's a great breakdown of how the Seahawks use their third wide receiver, and they don't. Basically, he's on the field, he catches a couple balls, and that's about it. And the Titans are very much in that mold of a high running percentage. They've got 2 absolute dudes at wide receiver. I think kind of that third piece is either going to emerge, be a rotational piece, or has yet to be added. They do like their tight ends. Obviously, Smith. You're probably not going to replace him, but they'll have a room full of guys who will kind of replace him in essence. But when you have Derrick Henry doing the things Derrick Henry does, and then you have 2 receiving threats like that, the third guy becomes a little bit superfluous as long as you have an underneath guy. And I think they've got those options, but there's just not the numbers available for there to be a third major receiving target with having those 2 guys, because now you've got one who's an established target, an established 1A receiver. Julio Jones is Julio Jones. If one of those guys is getting 600 yards on the season, something's seriously wrong with your offense. So I think they're going to stay away from having anything that would be a solid number 3 where you're like, yeah, that guy, the slot receiver possession guy who's not your ace, but he's gonna creep up on 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns, and you're not super gonna remember any of them. The move the chains type of guy. So I think they're probably looking to add that piece, but I wouldn't expect anything splashy from whoever the third option is.
Keep in mind, they also brought in Josh Reynolds.
True.
And so I'm not saying that Josh Reynolds is going to be a game changer. Now, they don't have the really good tight end because with losing Jonnu Smith, I would probably say their third string tight end is probably going to be their best option, and that's going to be Pinckney. But you put Derrick Henry on the field no matter what, and you're not running, 3 receiver sets with a tight end. You're going to run Derrick Henry lined up in the backfield, and you're going to run Julio, A.J. Brown, and Josh Reynolds.
And you're not going to use, particularly out of the tight end position, which is where that third receiving option is going to come from. It might not be one body, especially when you have, it's a salary cap league, right? So you have only so many actual options or yards to go around. Even if it becomes a much more volume passing offense, you're not going to give Brown 1,000 yards, Julio 1,000 yards, and then cut Derrick Henry's workload.
Right.
You want to keep him in the mix because his short yardage game, it might as well be a wide receiver. As good as he is at creating yards after contact and just being amazing, that's the guy. So you might not have like, hey, I've got my 1-2 Brown, Julio in whatever order, and then Joe Blow is my number 3 receiver. You might have 2 or 3 tight ends who are going to end up with 300-400 yards, 3 or 4 touchdowns, a wide receiver 3 who ends up with 300-400 yards, and a couple of touchdowns. So I think in an offense like that, where you've got 1-star wide receiver in A.J. Brown, a superstar and wide receiver in Julio Jones, and a superstar at running back in Derrick Henry, and at least a top 10 quarterback in Ryan Tannehill is really where you put him, at least by touchdowns and yards. He's going to find that guy, and it might not be one guy, it might be a few guys.
I 100% agree with that. I don't think they're going to need an additional piece because, you spread it out too much, and all of a sudden A.J. Brown and Julio aren't getting the ball enough, and then Derrick Henry's not getting the ball enough, and then your offense loses what it's good at.
Right. And I'm just glancing at their receiving yards from last year. A.J. Brown, almost 1,100. Corey Davis, just a hair under 1,000. Number 3 is Jonnu at 448.
Exactly.
So their number 3 guy last year with a very good receiving tight end was less than half of their number 2 guy. So, and that's where your offense is going to be focused, is stretching the field, giving Derrick Henry fewer men in the box to run against, and then conversely opening up downfield stuff. You're playing mismatch there. So, you look at Fursker was then the 4th option, 387. So he's barely below Jonnu, 2 less receptions. So that third target is going to get spread out a lot to create, and that's when nobody else is. There's a bunch of stars down there. I think Tennessee's going to be really good this year. I think Tennessee's going to be at least AFC Championship caliber. They're going to be really good.
I think so, but I still don't think they're going to take out the Browns, or excuse me, the Bills. Sorry, I was just reading David's comment.
Yeah, Browns and Bills, though. I mean, they're both in the same boat. That's going to be, the Browns are on the upswing. That's a tough division, and that's where the Titans are pretty favorably set. That's an extremely winnable division as it is, and you look at the pieces that they have compared to anybody else in that division. Sorry, buddy, but Indianapolis is a question mark. Even if Wentz gets back to form, is he going to do it all in one season and pull them up? I don't think so.
But but let's stop and take a look at Indy for a second. Wentz aside, they had the best defense in the division. That's all coming back. They added an edge rusher, which was one of their weaknesses last year. They're getting Michael Pittman back healthy. They're getting Paris Campbell back healthy. And T.Y. Hilton came back. They're getting Marlon Mack back healthy. And Jonathan Taylor looked good last year. So now you have 3 solid wide receivers. You have 2 really good running backs. And you have a very good offensive line to block for a guy who's never had a good offensive line in his professional career.
Absolutely true.
So now you put an embattled quarterback who struggled on his last team for whatever the case may be. I'm not here to blame one thing or another that was Wentz's struggles, but you have a coach who got the most out of him during his seasons in in Philly, and now he's got weapons, He's got blocking. He's got a surefire run game. And he's got a top 10 defense to support him on the other side of the ball.
And I agree with that. I don't think those are at all invalid. And I honestly hope the guy turns it around from where he's at in Philly. And I'll put a lot of blame on Philly. The coaching, the drafting, 100%. The development there was rotten. But he's the guy coming into a new system, making adjustments, and hey, maybe it clicks. That's not out of the realm of possibility. Is he gets that breath of fresh air that is everything you just described, and goes, holy crap, this is amazing, and is the MVP we saw a while ago. But I think Tennessee, on paper, in all of those categories, has the edge. Maybe they're a little behind in defense, but I think you look at especially the quarterback position, and right now you got to go with the sure thing. And this is just if I was going to go put down money on who I think takes that division. I think Tennessee's situated much better to do that than Indianapolis is. Would it surprise me if Indy did it? Absolutely not. Honestly, looking at the AFC, I think it's very likely that one of those takes the South and another one's a wild card, just like last year. Identical records, actually pretty comparable stats across the board as far as teams go. So, and like you said, a lot of those guys coming back. I think the AFC South is probably a division and a wild card right there.
I would agree. I think they're going to send 2 again this year. And don't we have an additional playoff spot added even this year too?
Did they keep that? I can't remember now.
I'm pretty sure they kept it for this year because we get the additional week. So it's now a 17-game season. So now we're going to see just an onslaught of records broken over the next.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, the next several years are just going to be record after record after record broken.
Well, that's the thing. We're talking 50, 55 touchdowns, basing it off of what we've seen with the 16-game season. You know, there's probably.
Yeah, but I mean, how many times? But that's the thing, though. Is how many times was 50 touchdowns actually accomplished? It was only a handful of times. I mean, you look at 2019, it was 38 touchdowns got the job done.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we realistically could be looking at, 40 to 42 touchdowns, probably on the low side. But, I mean, I don't doubt that we could see a quarterback go 60. I mean,
yeah,
you look at
Rodgers had 48 last year.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had Brady and Wilson at 40. Mahomes at 38. And,
yep.
You're talking. There's realistically half a dozen guys that you're expecting to be north of 40, and at least one or two of them north of 50.
Yeah, it's realistically possible. I mean, we already saw 50 from Mahomes. We've seen 50 from Brady. We saw 50 from Manning. Didn't Manning set it with 55 back in, 2013?
Yep.
So, I mean, 50 to 55 is entirely possible.
I think so. Oh, yeah, I absolutely agree.
So let me ask you this. Let's switch over to the NFC South. And who do you think is going to be your starting quarterback for the Saints?
And they kept Jameis Winston, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah, so I mean that seems like the likely one, at least for this season.
Well, so here's what you've got down there. You have Jameis on his 1 year, or 1 year left, I should say.
Right.
Taysom Hill is on a 4-year, fully voidable contract, which blows me away. Just odd. And then Ian Book, just drafted. So, honestly, I see Jameis coming in. If they don't have Jameis as the starting quarterback, I kind of wonder what Peyton is attempting. Because, and I'm not a Jameis Winston fanboy by any stretch of the imagination, but let's face facts. The guy can throw the ball. I mean, yes.
And that's really that's what it comes down to for me is who can throw the ball down there right now.
Correct.
You have, I mean, Hill's not a quarterback. Yeah, they use him in that weird utility role, which is fun and interesting, but he's not a 16, 17 game starter, whatever they're going into. He's not a guy who you're going to stick under center. And, you know, it's the Dolphins Wildcat experiment. Okay, hey, that was fun and worked for a year, and then everybody caught on, and it doesn't work at all anymore. So he's a guy who works in that gadget role, but he's not an under center guy. Right. I mean, I'm not going to say Jameis Winston's the starter and he's going to take the Saints to the playoffs or to a Super Bowl or anything of that, but he's the guy who's thrown a pass in the NFL down there. Mm-hmm. And week one, that's kind of who you got to go with in that situation, unless you have some surefire rookie, which they don't.
Not just thrown a pass. This is a Jameis Winston who has thrown for 30-plus touchdowns multiple times in his career, which is no easy feat.
Right.
That's not a gimme in the NFL anymore, even in today's pass-happy league that everybody says. 30 touchdowns still is not a gimme.
Right.
So, yeah, his 2019 season, his last season in Tampa Bay, he threw for 30 interceptions and was the only quarterback to be the 30-30 club?
Right.
But the fact that he still had 30 touchdowns and threw 30 interceptions, he's not afraid to air it out.
No, he's not. And again, it's just a guy who's been there, and you don't have anybody who's knocking on the door, beating the door down, saying, okay, I'm going to do better than that. And again, like you said, he's on a 1-year deal. So New Orleans is in a really weird position where, okay, if he's great and he makes the playoffs with a fairly complete roster, great. It worked out okay, and then you make a decision from there. And if it all crashes and burns, okay, you have a high draft pick and you're resetting because you just lost an all-time great, and you don't just replace them. You know, Drew Brees has been the model of consistency down there for, you know, God knows how long. You don't just replace that guy by any means. So this is just a year where you look at it and go, hey, we're gonna roll with this for better or worse. Maybe you take a look, all of that, but nobody's beating that door down that says, hey, I'm way better than Jameis right now.
All right,
I'm with you, David. I think Russ goes 50.
Let's move over to the NFC West real quick. Stafford to the Rams, and now we're hearing McVay just throw praise, shower Matthew Stafford with compliments that this guy is better than advertised and is going to tear up the NFC West, basically. Matt Stafford, we all know, is a very good quarterback.
Right.
How much better are the Rams going to be with Stafford over Goff?
Much. Vastly improved. I mean, there's two sides to this, and I'm going to be a hypocrite in about 2 minutes. When I talk
your
about the
fandom's
Seahawks.
About to come out. That's why I wanted to ask this.
This is much more about my hatred of the Rams than it is about my being a fan of the Seahawks, because I hate the damn Rams so much. But looking at it as objectively as I can, two things jump to mind right there. First and foremost, that's what he has to say. You don't trade a package for a guy like that and bring him in and then be like, whoops, that was a mistake. You can't do that. Right? Like, so, hey, we just gave up like 2 first-round picks and the guy who was our starting quarterback, and we really screwed up, guys. So sorry about that. It didn't work out. So you can't come out and say that. Matt Stafford, very good quarterback. I think he's gonna do well there. And I said it when the trade happened on here, is this is about them pushing all their chips to the center of the table. They've got aging guys. They've got albatross contracts. They've got free agents. I don't even know how they're under the salary cap, but I need that guy to do my taxes. Like, holy crap, because they are hemorrhaging cap money and are still somehow bringing players. So
the bill comes due.
Yeah, exactly. And it is due like they are in sort of Damocles territory. It is hanging over their head by a thread. So after this year, they're going to enter free fall.
Correct.
Which I love and is delicious. So you have to go for it this year. While you've got Prime Aaron Donald, while you have the receivers you have, while you have the defense you have before that bill comes due. And it's coming due in a big way. And they've been a good team for a good amount of years and have made smart trades and smart moves that have made them competitive. But in order to get over that hump, this is the move they had to make. Is Stafford ultimately the guy who gets them there? We'll find out in February. I'm not going to bet against it, but I'm not going to say it's going to happen. This isn't the slam dunk move that it's kind of presented as, or it feels like, because this is not loading up in a beleaguered division like the NFC South or the AFC South, and you're saying, okay, well, hey, we have these reclamation projects at quarterbacks and everything. The NFC West is going to be a bloodbath. So are you going to be able to squeeze out 13 wins in a 17-win season in the NFC West with the schedule that they're going to have? I don't know that anybody can. So you're looking at, a 2, 3, 4, 5 seed somewhere in there, and that's a tough road to hoe. So that's where, not even that I doubt that Stafford would be great on the Rams, because I really think he will, as much as I hate to say that, but he's kind of like your point with Wentz. He's given tools and support in LA that he hasn't gotten in 10 odd years in Detroit. So I don't think it's a slam dunk Super Bowl for them. Does it get them into the playoffs? Yeah, probably. But you have 3 other tough teams in that division, and that's something that not a lot of other teams in the NFL have to do.
Okay, so now let's go just a little further north to the 49ers. They're sitting there with Jimmy G on the roster still. Mind you, supposedly a healthy Jimmy G.
Yeah, until about week 6.
So here's my question. No secret, I'm a huge Trey Lance fan. We all know this. This is not me fanboy. This is not me talking about home cooking. What's that?
He played for Wyoming, didn't he, in college?
So I've watched every single game that Trey Lance has played in his collegiate career. I have watched replays, game breakdowns. I've watched analysts break him down. I've watched his training videos in the off seasons to see how he's adjusting, how he's improving his footwork, his mechanics. And now I'm watching videos in 49ers camp, and I'm watching videos that are getting posted, and even without me being a Bison, he looks better than I've ever seen him.
You are not going to like my analysis after watching a couple highlights.
Then I don't know what highlights you watched, because I literally just watched hours of his training camp stuff. And
well, I've watched like 2.5 minutes of him, and boy, do I have some insight for you. So I've got the flip side of that. I think Jimmy Garoppolo sucks, and I've watched a lot of Jimmy Garoppolo, and I've come to the authoritative conclusion that Jimmy Garoppolo sucks. So I feel what you're saying about Trey Lance. I don't disagree with it, and you've obviously watched way more Trey Lance than I ever have or ever will.
You'll be watching a lot more because he's in your division.
I know, yeah. I'll see him at least twice. As long as I see him in the turf and throwing the blue jerseys, I'll be all right.
You gotta catch him.
Hey, we got Carlos Dunlap back. baby. We're good. We're good. Jimmy Garoppolo and maybe Trey Lance is the guy, and he starts week 1 and all of that. Maybe he doesn't. You know how it goes with rookies. They obviously have a tremendous amount invested in Garoppolo. But again, the thing about Garoppolo is that he sucks. He gets
Tell me how you really feel.
He is the only good move the 49ers have made is drafting a quarterback and not 100% hitching their wagon to the guy who is going to get you fired. And that's what Jimmy Garoppolo is the guy who's going to get you fired. Because he'll go out and he'll be okay enough. He's not going to be Jared Goff throwing to an empty field except for a blue jersey. But he's not going to go out and do what you should be able to do as an NFL quarterback with that roster. Yeah, that's a roster where they could have signed Ryan Fitzpatrick in the offseason, and I would have been like, playoff team.
Yeah.
But Garoppolo is so aggressively mediocre that he's going to keep himself employed and never even clear the hurdle that like Fitzpatrick has got to of, hey, I can come in and play 16 games for you and not lose games. Garoppolo will lose you games, and then he will get hurt. And then he'll have a flash of brilliance, and you'll go, okay, maybe we should keep paying this guy $20 million a year.
Well, and I think but what you're talking about before with, he's good enough to get you fired, and he's that quarterback that if you hitch your wagon to, you will get fired. Made it pretty clear that by drafting Trey Lance, they're not hitching that.
Yep. Absolutely, because best case scenario for Trey Lance, right? There's 3 possibilities. 1, Trey Lance is awesome, part of the new generation of quarterbacks, comes out, absolutely kills it. Great. Guess what? You continue to be employed, right, as a coach. You get to win playoff games. You get to win games. Everybody loves you. Best case scenario. Okay. Worst case scenario is he's a complete bust, right? He flames out, doesn't make it. Guys from these D2 schools or whatever just never make it in the NFL. And
D1.
And they suck.
D1.
Okay, I don't know.
D1.
Nobody ever heard of it before Wentz, dude.
D1. It is D1. FCS is D1. There's still a Division 2. FCS is D1.
It's the best part of coming on here.
D1.
Anyway, right? So maybe he flames out, right? But at least you rolled the dice. At least you tried. At least you went for it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, maybe that cost you your job, but at least you went for it. And then maybe he's mediocre, maybe he gets injured, maybe he's iffy, maybe he has an equal touchdown to interception ratio, and he has a couple great highlight plays and a couple bonehead plays. Well, that's what you've already got on the roster, and you're paying that guy, $20-odd million a year. So that's how you're doing it for cheap.
Now you have a low-cost guy at worst doing the same thing.
Exactly. Now, did they overpay to get him in draft capital? Absolutely. But at least you did something. And that was my frustration with Stafford in Detroit. And I think there were other issues other than who Matt Stafford is as a quarterback. I think he's on the upside of average, but he's still a fairly average volume quarterback. Rams with Goff, at least you did something. Instead of standing pat who's with a guy who's going to take you to 8 wins a season and maybe you play enough defense, have a good enough running game to get over the hump to 10, 11 wins. At least you did something. And so that's where I do give the 49ers credit, is at least they went for it. At least they say, hey, you know what? We have a pretty good roster. We have an NFL caliber roster that can compete in a very tough division, and we're going to go for it. Instead of standing pat because, we traded for this guy and we paid him a bunch of money, we're not going to stand pat with that. We're going to say, that didn't work out. Maybe this guy plays another season with us, but we're going to bring somebody in who's either going to push him or supersede him and take us to the next level. And it's a can't-lose scenario unless it all bottoms out. So I really do applaud the 49ers for at least going for it, where I think a lot of teams just stand pat with what they have and stay in a mediocre position, and that drives me insane.
See, and here's Here's where I think, as far as the rookie quarterbacks coming in this year, for the first rounders, obviously, because these are really the guys who have the best chances at starting this year. Out of all 5 first-round quarterbacks, Trey Lance is the one set up to actually succeed. Because you look at the Jaguars, they obviously the reason why they got the number 1 overall pick because they were a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
But sure, they get the savior of the NFL, Trevor Lawrence. And sure, they draft his running back from college, Travis Etienne. And they have a new coach, Urban Meyer. They have whatever else. But I'm sorry, Trevor Lawrence is not set up to succeed.
Right. He's not the other 20 guys on.
And then you move into Zach Wilson, the Jets. The Jets. Come on.
I think oh my God. Bears. Who did the Bears
Fields.
Have? Fields. I think Fields is in a pretty good position. You have good receiver, obviously pretty good defense there. I think he's in a pretty good position.
He's in an okay position. The problem is they didn't build any weapons around him.
No, I don't disagree. You still got Robinson, though.
Yes, but he's disgruntled because he's not on a long-term deal. He's already pissed. He wanted out.
That gets fixed.
He's a free agent after this year.
I know, but you can still sign him this year.
Not if he wants out. If he flat out says no. I mean, and that's, to be honest, with this whole scenario. So they're already talking about, and Nagy's already said that Andy Dalton's the starter and blah, blah, blah. And we all pretty much knows that means Justin Fields going to start. But if Justin Fields doesn't take them to an NFC championship, what is that? Or let's not even say NFC championship. Let's say if Justin Fields doesn't even take them to a division championship, does Allen Robinson then look at it and go, I'm out? No.
He's going to look at what's his rapport with the quarterback. Is the ball coming his way? Are they on a path? That's what you're going to look at in his position.
He wants to be on a winner. He's already said it. He's tired of losing.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying money talks, and if they say, it's the same thing we talked about with Russell Wilson. Hey, went out and got you help, bud. Hey, you want to be on a winner? Guess what? We went out and got you a quarterback. Now here's a big pile of money. Can't win without you, bro.
Now, then it boils down to, can the coach lead that team? And that's been one of the big questions.
Absolutely. Now, do I have confidence in the Chicago Bears to do the right thing and make that happen? Absolutely not. I'm just saying that's the play if you're smart about it.
Okay, so now we're 4 quarterbacks into it. Now Mac Jones. I'm not trying to laugh, but not in a position to win.
Can we bring Mark back on this? Because I never got to make fun of him.
Mark will be on again, not tonight. But
okay, I just want to pop on just to make fun of him for the Mac Jones pick in the mock draft.
Right. Trust me, with Trey Lance getting taken by the Niners, that was the best scenario I could see happen in the top 15 picks for Trey Lance.
100%.
I didn't want him to be a Patriot.
Right. And, the thing, it's the paradox of what the 49ers did, where you give up a ton to go get that guy because the 49ers are not bad enough to pick in that spot all on their own. But now you've given up draft capital to do it. And so, yeah, it puts the quarterback in a better position, but now you've given up a ton of draft capital. So it's a bit of a paradox, right?
But on a team that's the thing, though. With the Niners, they have the most Out of those teams that were quarterback needy,
Right.
they're the most complete team.
Absolutely. 100%.
So even out of teams that have their quarterback, they're a more complete team. They're a team that is in win now position with the right person under center. So, and I know a lot of NFC Westers from other teams don't want to hear that, but it's the reality.
Yeah, that's the reality. Is it's realistically the only team in the NFL, or the only division in the NFL with 4 teams in it that are in win now mode. Every single one of them.
I would agree.
You know, it's everybody is right there, and that's where you have to worry about everybody being in win now mode. There's not. Are there a dozen wins? Are there 13 wins in that division for anybody? Are there enough wins to go around? Are you going to be able to feast enough outside of your division in order to get to a 1 or 2 seed that you essentially need to get to a Super Bowl?
I honestly don't think so. That division's going to be such a bloodbath that I don't think there's a team that's going to sweep that division. I just don't see it.
There's no way. There's absolutely no way.
It's like it. And again, you know, going back to, obviously I'm wearing Steelers gear right now, and I've got a big Steelers flag behind me. I bleed AFC North. 3 of the 4 teams are in win now mode.
Right, and I don't
the
even
Bengals are almost there
on Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh's on the downward slope of that. Right, this is kind of the last year of that, the window that they have, where you've got a more or less sure thing. Ben's starting to show signs of his age. Right, he's been a great quarterback for a long time, but you know, are you going to trust them to make a deep run?
Well, here's the thing, and I'm glad you brought up Ben, so I didn't have to be the one to do it. So that's one thing. Ben went through Tommy John surgery. Okay? Dean, you're a baseball guy.
Stop using baseball terms. You don't even know what they mean.
Yes, I do. You're a baseball guy, a diehard baseball guy. What happens second year after a pitcher has Tommy John?
Yeah, I mean, that's when you recover.
Correct.
But, you know,
and everybody was giving Ben crap last year about how his arm was washed, he didn't recover, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, but he's going to be 19 months removed from that surgery. Well, actually, no. Yeah, 19, 20 months removed from that surgery. His arm's going to be in better shape this year.
To me, I don't think it has to do with the surgery. Hey, most of the guys getting that surgery done are not 50 or however old he is now, and have
37.
Basically 50. You know, he's taken a ton of punishment. You know, he's been an extremely durable quarterback.
Early on, yes.
There's a big difference between a pitcher having Tommy John surgery, where all you do is throw a baseball, and somebody who routinely has 300-pound grown-ass men running into them for a living having Tommy John surgery. So I think it extends beyond that. Now, he could be fantastic. I'm not saying he's not going to be. I'm just saying Pittsburgh's on the back half of that window. Cincinnati is a complete mystery. Cleveland will probably win 2 games because they're Cleveland, right? But they're on the upswing. So but you have 3 teams depending on which direction Ben's recovery goes, and that's what it all hinges on. But there's just not another division in the NFL where you have 4 teams who you could say, yeah, I could see those guys in the AFC or the NFC Championship.
Correct. No, and that's what I was saying earlier, was talking AFC. Bengals are, provided Burrow stays healthy, Jamar Chase pans out, the run game is good. If their offensive line additions that they improved on this year help, they could potentially be knocking on the door of being a wild card team as well. And so all of a sudden, then we're looking at AFC North and NFC West, 4 teams that literally roll the damn dice as to who's going to be in the playoffs each year.
Exactly.
And I will agree that I do think that Pittsburgh is nearing the end of that window, at least for Ben Roethlisberger era.
Right. And
And
yeah, I like, obviously great organization, good track record of being able to sustain those things. I'm just talking about with what there is on paper going into the next season and
correct.
beyond.
Well, and that's the thing is they need to address that, and at times they have, and they feel Mason Rudolph is that answer, and I have defended Mason Rudolph time and time again, and if you look at his pre-Earl Thomas flash midair knockout versus post, he was really good for being young, and then really Sam Darnold ghost
Yes.
after. Because I will say this right now. PTSD is a real thing. It's not just a military thing. PTSD lingers in a lot of scenarios. And Mason Rudolph, I said this his first game back. That sucker had PTSD and should not have been on the field. He was not ready.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what destroyed everybody's confidence in him. Was he was not okay and would not admit it.
Right.
So, is he beyond that? The little bit that we got to see him this last year, he looked a lot better.
Right.
Now, Dwayne Haskins coming into town, is Dwayne Haskins the answer? No, I don't believe so. Is Dwayne Haskins going to make the roster? No, I don't believe so. Can Dwayne Haskins turn around his bad start to his NFL career? I sure hope so. I don't like seeing young players fail. I don't. I just don't think he's going to make that rebound with the Steelers.
And maybe it's a start for him, but the issue is not just his physical ability. It's his attitude and what you're putting into it. It ties back to our very early conversation, about Kelnick. He's the polar opposite. He showed that his entire time in Washington. There was no effort, no humility,
and that's where I think he can learn some of that being at the Steelers, because that organization can hopefully right that ship for him.
It's just super late to learn that in your career. That's just, once you're already that deep into a professional career, man, that's late in the game, especially with as short as NFL players' lifespans are.
But it's happened. We've seen other players grow up before our eyes. We literally watched Ben Roethlisberger do it.
Yeah, I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying it's a hard thing to do that late. And and without getting into the weeds on morality of it and whatnot, it sure helps when you're Ben Roethlisberger and you're performing on the field. That buys you grace, right?
He didn't, but that's the thing. And I said this early on, and you and I had this conversation because you and I have known each other almost Roethlisberger's entire career. And early on in his career, I even said this. I was not a Ben Roethlisberger fan. Did I think that he was good? Yes. But he was a good game manager. He wasn't winning them games. They had a historic defense. They had a very good running game. And he was good at extending plays and getting the ball into Hines Ward's hands, into Plexico's hands, into Santonio Holmes' hands, into Randall L's hands, guys like that. He was good at finding the guys that he needed to make plays when those plays were needed, but he wasn't a guy that was out taking over a ball game. Yeah, he'd come back in the fourth quarter, but he wasn't dominating games all game long.
No, he wasn't, but you look at his rookie season, They won
15 games. They were 15-1. He came in week 3 when Tommy Maddox got hurt in Baltimore, and they lost that game. And then they continued to win after that and took him to the AFC Championship game against the Patriots. But he didn't do anything spectacular. That season was owned by that historic defense.
Right, absolutely. Didn't do anything spectacular. But then you look at a guy like Haskins, where he's played 13 games in 2 seasons. They've won 3 of them, granted, garbage team.
Correct.
But, 60% completion, 12 touchdowns to 14 interceptions, yards per game, about 175. So you're talking about Roethlisberger coming in, winning, granted, not doing it on his own, not being the guy who came in and won those games. But Haskins is a guy who came in and lost those games. Just didn't do anything to elevate it, which is what you're looking at with somebody
But he was also asked to do more than Ben did. That's part of the problem.
I'm just saying Ben still did his job, performed well enough, and had some hiccups along the way. But I don't think Ben was a constant headache for his coaching staff. Now, is that equally on Washington's coaching staff and front office? Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, it's a guy where you look at it up and down, and it's the opposite of the Kelnick thing. Is you look at it and you question his work ethic, you question his attitude, you question his dedication, and those were questions that never came up about Ben. You questioned his decision making off the field and his morality, and again, that's immaterial to this conversation. He made mistakes. Hopefully he grew beyond them. I don't live the guy's life, but nobody questioned whether or not he was dedicated to making his football team better. And when you have off-field headaches, when you have attitude, and you question your dedication to making my football team better, well, then what am I going to do with you?
Yeah.
And that's where I would, because that's where Ben at least got the grace of, hey, this guy came in, won 13 games for us, managed games, and is going to grow on the field. Haskins didn't do that. So
correct, and he didn't grow off the field either. And that was the problem, is he was...
Yeah, and you're just going to run out of chances way faster.
Yep. And that was what I just read the other day, was Rivera came out and said after, his 4th game last year, after he played, and they got obliterated, and he was talking about his own stats. He was bragging about his personal stats to a teammate, and that's when Rivera benched him.
Yep.
So, yes, I would agree. All right. We've got to get moved on here because it's already 8 o'clock and I got a box to rip and some shit to give away. So, Dean, if you want to hang out, I'm going to switch the screen. I'm going to rip a box of baseball anyways.
All right.
So if you want to just chat in the back,
what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pop you up and I'm just gonna watch on YouTube for the rest of it and kind of hang around the chat.
Okay, sounds good. Ladies and gentlemen, Dean Smith Richard. Thank you, Dean.
Thank you.
If I can get this to close. Come on, break cam. There we go. Boom. I lost my chat. Just so you guys know, that was completely unscripted. We had a discussion about this beforehand. What did we want to discuss topic-wise? And I made the comment to him, let's not get into that, and let's just wing it tonight. Dave, go to bed. I am trying to change my screen up here. There we go. All right. Tonight, we are ripping a box of Series 2 Jumbo Baseball. Each box contains 1 auto and 2 relics. So we're guaranteed an auto in this box. Thank you for that compliment, Mr. Miller. We also get 2 of the box topper parallels, and we get some bonus. Oops, sorry, wrong camera. Yelich in the 70 year, and oh, perfect, Ken Griffey Jr. That is a badass card. That is awesome. Ken Griffey Jr. in that 70 anniversary. So let's start with our parallel packs. Skubal, rookie. Corey Seager, Syndergaard, and Dylan Carlson. Arozarena, Mike Schmidt, Soto, and Bueller. So those were our parallels coming out of the top. I like that Griffey, though. That's pretty awesome. So if you haven't seen Series 2, obviously it looks just like Flagship Series 1 and Opening Day, just doesn't have the Opening Day badge. So we're going to get through a lot of the base here. These jumbos have a lot of cards. And our first parallel is bronze of Lance McCullers, not numbered, but we get numbered at a 99 the vintage stock James Paxton, still in his Yankees uniform. And then we get the championship ring relic of Hideki Matsui. These are kind of a neat faux memorabilia piece. Ian Anderson, rookie. Luke Voigt, sorry. Get any Estevan Florial. Okay, nothing else really in that pack. Rookie of Daz Cameron. Jose Garcia, rookie. And we get a blue of Hyun Jin Ryu, not numbered. DH debuts, Christian Walker. Ricky Henderson, insert. Not getting much for rookies in the first 2 packs. Brian Hayes, rookie. And we get a gold of Donovan Solano, not numbered. And our auto ends up rookie, Detroit Tigers, Bo Burrows, 70 years of baseball auto. We get a Kirby Puckett throwback. Corey Seager. Zach McKinstry, rookie. Can't even see these this far away. TJ Antone, Keegan Aiken, Jonathan Strever, Zach Birdie, Tucker Davidson, and Mark Mathias, rookie. So 3 packs in so far. And we've already got 1 auto, or our auto, and 1 relic. Sam Huff, rookie. Jazz Chisholm, rookie. Bronze of Daniel Norris. Gold rookie of Jose Marmolejos for the Mariners. And we get a variation rookie of Dean Creamer. Cal Ripken, Jazz Chisholm. Jonathan Araz, Julian Merriweather, Mickey Moniak, Dalton Jeffries, and Taylor Widener. Dean Creamer. So there's the regular Creamer rookie. Blue Robbie Gossman. Sweet spot. Significant stats Freddie Freeman. 0 to 60 Jacob DeGrom. Kirby Puckett All-Star. Rookie Tanner Hoke, Brent Rooker. I'm too far away to see. Miguel Iajube, Marmolejos base, and Campusano. I'm just going to take all these out and get the box out of the way because I'm going to need the space. Jared Oliva rookie. Trevor Story blue, or the sky blue. Numbered out of 499. Green, Aaron Nola. Jersey, rookie, Rangers, Sam Huff. So there's our second memorabilia card. Significant statistics, Fernando Tatis, Ted Williams All-Star. Rookie, Josh Fleming. Rookie, Adonis Medina. Rookie, Alejandro Kirk. You'll have to forgive me. I'm not close enough to the cards to really read the names tonight. I'm stashed, or I'm set a little bit further back than when I am on break night. So, harder for me to see the names. That and my eyes are just getting worse as I get older. Which, by the way, happy birthday, Taylor, if you're still on. I saw that it was your birthday today. Blue, New York Mets. Die cut, Seaver. Chris Sale, All-Star. Shane McClanahan, rookie. Ha-Sung Kim. Johan Ramirez, Lewin Diaz, Jonathan Araz, and Julian Merriweather. Trevor Rogers, rookie. Ednoli Paredes. Andy Young. Bronze Jorge Soler out of 2021. Gold Victor Robles. Seager, Corey, JD Martinez, Pavin Smith, rookie. Two packs left. Johan Mahia, rookie. Is that who that is? Jonah Heim, sorry. Looking at it upside down. Andre Scrub, rookie. Home run challenge, Bryce Harper. That'll be a good one to give away tonight. Whoops. Come on. I can't wait to have a mount. Miguel Yajur, gold, rookie. Casey Mize with the throwback. Ian Anderson. Jahmai Jones, rookie. Estevan Florial, rookie. And Johan Oviedo? Yep, Oviedo. Rookie. Last pack. Jake Cronenworth, rookie. Clark Schmidt, rookie. Jake Woodford, rookie. Garrett Crochet, rookie. Blue. Championship Fireworks. Die cut. Joe Morgan. Alonzo All-Star. Rookie. Braylon Marquez. Rookie. William Contreras. Rookie. Alex Kirilloff. Luis Garcia rookie. Jordan Weems, Ryan Jeffers, Sherton Apostle, Raphael Marchand, Matt Foster, JT Brubaker, and that's it. So that was our jumbo box of Top Series 2 baseball. Alright, so we are going to give away the Bryce Harper tonight. The home run challenge. Because hopefully somebody can turn that into a bigger win. So, Bo Burrows. Yeah, we'll give away the Bo Burrows. Okay, so those are going to be our two giveaways for tonight. The Bo Burrows rookie auto and the Bryce Harper home run challenge. So number one's going to win the Harper, number two's going to win the Burrows. I have to figure out how I'm going to get this up on screen because my screens are being all wonky right now. Come on. No. Stop it. Alright, give me a minute to get this dialed in because we are not set up for this tonight. And my screen has already crapped out on me for the night, which is fun. Here we go. All right. All right, if you want in to win either card, put your entry in on the chat. Just type me, M-E. Type M-E in chat if you want a chance to win. Don, Shane, Miller. Anybody else on that wants a shot at winning these cards? Fitch. And don't forget, we've got breaks tomorrow night. 4 breaks up on the website. for break tomorrow. One of them being a charity break, actually, where we are taking all profit from the break and donating it to a GoFundMe for a hobby member's family who had their home destroyed in a fire. So the goal is to raise $400 for them if we can get a sellout on the break. But if you want a chance to win one of the 2 cards, just type me in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to run it because it's already after 8:20. And I am sweating in here. It is warm. It is warm. And I might as well just mention this now. Next week, I have another guest scheduled for next week. It's going to be Eric Doty, the CEO of Loop. We had him on a number of months ago as Loop was just kind of starting to take off. And I wanted to do a follow-up interview with him and talk about some of the expansion and the success of Loop over the last 6 months. So next week's going to be a really fun show. Eric's going to come and bro down with us for about a half hour, 45 minutes. So make sure you guys tune in. Get any of your friends in on this chat to hear what Eric has to say. I highly recommend checking out Loop if you guys haven't already. All right, let's get over to the drawing. We're going to roll the dice. 10. We're going to randomize the list 10 times. Good luck, everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th and final. Shane taking the 1 spot, winning the Bryce Harper Home Run Challenge. Miller winning the Bo Burrows auto. Congratulations, you two. Always enjoy being able to give out. Dean. We just ran it, Dean. You're about 4 minutes late. Oh. Did you pause the stream, Dean? Are you behind? Oh, congratulations, you guys. Correct. Now it's pick a correct home run date. That's exactly what you need to worry about now. Okay, so just going to wrap up the show real quick. Talk about, again, this weekend, if you're going to be around the Washington area, come out to Auburn, Twin Oaks Cards and Collectibles Show, Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 4 each day. More than 70 vendor tables each day, and they're going to be jam-packed, a little bit for everybody. Memorabilia, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, sports cards from vintage to ultra-modern, slabs, autographs, memorabilia, rookies, base, junk wax, anything you could potentially want is probably going to be on somebody's table if you look hard enough. Funko Pops, starting lineup figures, McFarlane action figures, vintage toys. I've seen people with He-Man and Transformers and Star Wars and all this kind of stuff for toys at these card shows as well. So it's a lot of fun, like I said, a little bit for everybody. Bring the kids down, come check it out, whether you're into sports cards or if you're into basic collectibles. And then tomorrow night, starting at 4 o'clock, break night. Make sure you guys get on, check that out, have a lot of fun with us. If you're new to getting in on breaks, it's a lot of fun being in the room. We got a great group of people that come in and chat. It's a lively environment. We pull a lot of fire. I do hoot and holler, just so you guys know. I'm not one of those lackadaisical people that sits there all monotone. We just hit a Mike Trout auto. Congratulations. We just hit a Trevor Lawrence auto. Congratulations. That's not how I do things. I get worked up. It's a lot of fun. I won't lie. I like to have fun. So, check it out. We'll have a good time on stream tomorrow night. Breaks are posted, sportstuffhub.com/breaks, or just go to sportstuffhub.com. Name is right there. Right there. Sports Stuff Hub. And just click on the breaks tab. All right. I'm going to let you guys go because it's already 8:30 and I'm sweating over here. So I will see you guys tomorrow for break night. Have a good night, everybody. Stay safe out there.